Welcome to Art+Object's first important paintings and contemporary art catalogue for 2016. This is our 101st catalogue and one that we're very proud of. All of the works are currently on view, of course, at Art+Object at 3 Abbey Street in Newton. The auction is this coming Thursday, April the 7th at 6:30 p.m. There's another day or two for you to come and view these works before the auction, of course. And now Ben, Leigh and myself are going to talk about some of the works that we found particularly engaging in this current catalogue.
We get many comments at Art+Object about the viewings and the way the work is displayed. Most of it's positive, which is great, but the challenge that we have when laying out a show of approximately 70 works from different artists, different periods, different styles, it can appear incredibly disparate for obvious reasons. But every now and then things come together really nicely and we get a lovely little selection of works that functions in a not similar way to what a show you might see in a private dealer gallery or a curated show in a public gallery. And I think we've got that in this auction, and it's a rare opportunity with these three works by Colin McCahon to have an incisive little look on just what the artist was up to in the mid-1970s. The earliest of the three works is this magnificent painting from 1974, and then we go through to 1976, the Rocks in the Sky painting, and then last of all, one of the last kind of, I think, great series that McCahon produced, his Truth from King Country works in 1978 in the top. Starting with the jump painting, comes from the loveliest couple in Wellington. They've had the painting for a very, very long time. There's some nice history in the catalogue about them and about their relationship with Peter McCleavey. 1974, I think McCahon actually began the jump series in the year preceding 1973. But it's not a large series. There's maybe 12 jumps, spearheaded by the painting called Large Jump, which I think is in the collection of Auckland Art Gallery. But of the rest of the jumps, I think for me, this one here is probably the pick of them. It's unusual in two respects for the jump series. One, it's fundamentally horizontal in format. Most of the works from the jump paintings are vertical and smaller in scale. But two, there's a magnificent Maori blood red palette. This background really separates it from the rest of the series. And then again, another point of separation is the way that the lines, which overtly represent the gannet colony on the edge of Muriwai there, separate into two lines, and one sort of approaching the heavens and the other heading out towards Owaia Island. I think McCahn's work, fundamentally, or the most common ingredient in his paintings throughout his entire oeuvre, is the landscape and the New Zealand landscape. That, coupled with the fact that his painting is really about faith, and that's beautifully encapsulated in the jump series, of course. The leap of faith and belief, and the leap of faith in being an artist are two tangible elements that play out strongly in this work. The one on the right, I guess, for many might be more typical. It's from the Rocks in the Sky series. 1976 is, I think, one of the most important years in McCahn's career, precipitated by the gifting from Peter McCleavey of, I think, around 100 pieces of Steinbeck paper, which McCahon laid onto board. In a bout of immense creativity, he produced the Cloud series, just preceding this, the Noughts and Crosses series, the Rocks in the Sky, and then culminates with the wonderful 7-panel work On the Road. This work here on the right from the Rocks in the Sky series, I think again a little bit like the Jump series, and I probably would say this, and I know that auctioneers are prone to hyperbole, but I think it's one of the one or two great works from the Rocks in the Sky series. You can see that McCahon has laid it out in a very planar fashion. It is a landscape painting, again like the Jump series. It refers to the Muriwai region, but highly abstracted and related to the journey of Jesus Christ and the Stations of the Cross. Particularly strong in this one is the emphasis on the fifth station, which is bearing the cross. Stations 1 and 2, you can see, are reversed out into white and to black, and it creates the most wonderfully lucid and elegant composition from this period. The final works in this wonderful little mid to late 1970s triumvirate is the modestly scaled Truth from King Country painting. This one I think is particularly nice because you can see in the top right hand corner you have the ray of light coming in, punctuated through the centre, as all of the works are in this series, by the Tower Cross. This time strongly realised, resolute. The work is bold and it punches well beyond its weight in terms of scale, but when you get up close to it, what's unusual about these works, and particularly lovely I think, is you see another side of McCahon, and this time it is the delicate mark maker. When you get up close to it, the painting is just applied so gently and so beautifully, with such deliberation and care. It's another side to the artist that we don't see in these two works.
In the late 1970s, Richard Killeen's work took a really startling turn into these works that he really made his own, the cutouts. This work from 1979 is one of the purest, one of the simplest, and really is very much a statement of intent by Killeen. The cutouts from the late 1970s flowered into numerous different series and different forms and adapted to new technology, particularly computer technology, as it came through and emerged in the 1990s. But this work here from 1979 is really a masterpiece of the form. What we have is a really juxtaposition here between the pure abstraction of these striking yellow shards that really are wonderful and these insect combinations. These are a kind of an artistic form of clip art. There's an element of what you see is what you get with these early cutouts. But the divine intervention, the element of chance, the sense of play that is inherent in these works, and the implied narrative that we read into these works as we either install or construct them, goes to the heart of what is really a magical body of work in New Zealand modern and contemporary art.
One of the notable aspects of this catalogue is the inclusion of some wonderful photography by New Zealand and international practitioners. We have two wonderful examples by Fiona Partington, whose exhibition A Beautiful Hesitation is currently on at the Auckland Art Gallery, and also a wonderful work by New Zealand's 2017 Venice Biennale representative Lisa Rayhana. Probably the first time a major work of Lisa's has come to auction in New Zealand. Also included are some wonderful works by Michael Parakofi, Yvonne Todd, Gavin Hipkins, Bill Henson, Peter Perrier and Roberta Thornley.
Michael Illingworth is perhaps best known, of course, for the Pisquicks, the Adam and Eve figures, the social commentary works of the mid to late 1960s. In the 1970s, coinciding with a move to the Coromandel, his work becomes more lyrical and landscape-based. This particular work is very dear to his heart. On first arriving in New Zealand in the 1950s, Illingworth spent time in the far north in Matari Bay and engaged with New Zealand culture and was welcomed by local iwi. So this particular work I see is almost a love letter to New Zealand, but also a deep acknowledgement of the history of human engagement with the land. Because of course what we have here is a past site, the ziggurat form that's so recognisable in New Zealand on a headland on the coast. A beautiful late evening and the turquoise of the sea. This particular work stands as one of Illingworth's most profound, quiet, but deeply felt responses to the New Zealand landscape that he lived on and loved for so many years.